My sister used my postpartum depression to grab power of attorney for my own good, then sold my car and emptied my savings. Now the judge called it coercion and I'm taking her to court, not therapy. I didn't even know until my debit card got declined buying diapers at Target. I called the bank thinking it was fraud and the woman on the phone said, "Ma'am, your account shows a transfer authorization signed 2 weeks ago." I legitimately thought I was losing my mind because I never signed anything. My sister had been staying with me to help with the baby after my son was born. I had really bad postpartum depression. Like couldn't get out of bed, couldn't stop crying, the whole thing was terrifying. My husband works offshore 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, so she offered to stay during his rotation. I thought she was being nice. She kept saying things like, "You're not thinking clearly right now and let me handle the bills so you can focus on healing." I was so exhausted and scared about how I was feeling that I just said okay. She brought me papers to sign for medical stuff and I signed them because I trusted her. I didn't read them. I was barely functioning. Then my card declined and I found out she transferred $43,000 to her account. My entire savings. The money I'd been putting away since I was 19. She also sold my car. The title was in a folder in my desk and she just took it and sold my car for $8,000. Gone. I called her immediately and she said, "You weren't using it anyway, you can barely leave the house. I needed it for my business opportunity and you're not stable enough to make financial decisions right now." I started screaming at her. She said, "This is exactly what I'm talking about, you're being hysterical. The power of attorney is for your own protection." I called a lawyer the next day. Took a loan from my mom to afford it. The lawyer looked at the documents and said, "This is coercion, she exploited your postpartum condition." Apparently she'd filed paperwork claiming I was mentally incompetent. There were doctor's notes she'd somehow gotten copies of about my depression and she twisted them to make it look like I couldn't handle my own affairs. The lawyer helped me file to revoke it immediately and we're taking her to court. Criminal charges for financial exploitation of a vulnerable person. My husband came home early from his rotation and we got a restraining order. She's been sending flying monkeys. Our mom, our aunt. Saying I'm ruining her life over a misunderstanding and that she was trying to help me. Help me? She stole everything I had while I was at my lowest point. She planned this. She waited until I was vulnerable. The judge called it coercion in the preliminary hearing and said there's enough evidence for criminal charges. My sister could actually go to jail. Now my whole family is saying I should drop it and go to therapy with her instead because she's still your sister and this will destroy the family. But she stole $51,000 from me total. She exploited my postpartum depression. She sold my car without asking. And she told me I was too unstable to handle my own life while she was robbing me blind. My mom keeps calling saying I'm being vindictive and that my sister made a mistake in judgment, but it wasn't a mistake, it was calculated. She had to get those medical records somehow, forged documents, open accounts, everything. That's not a mistake. Now I'm wondering if I'm being too harsh. She is my sister and maybe I should try to work this out privately instead of involving the courts. My family thinks I'm an asshole for pressing charges. Am I a butthole? The lawyer called me yesterday and said my sister's been contacting people from my postpartum support group. She somehow found out which one I'd been attending and showed up last week. Told everyone there that I was having a mental health crisis and making false accusations against family members. One of the women texted me after because she thought it was weird how my sister kept insisting I needed to be protected from myself. That's when I realized she's been building a case this whole time. Not just the power of attorney thing. She'd been collecting evidence for months. My husband found emails on an old laptop we share where she'd been corresponding with some lawyer back in April, 2 months before my son was even born. The subject line said incapacity planning. She planned this before I gave birth. I threw up when I read that. Just stood in the kitchen and threw up in the sink because the reality hit me all at once. My sister looked at my pregnancy and saw an opportunity. She waited for me to be at my most vulnerable and then she struck. The criminal hearing is in 3 weeks. My lawyer says the evidence is overwhelming but my family is losing their minds. My mom showed up at my house on Tuesday with my aunt and my sister's best friend. They wanted to do an intervention about my vendetta. I wouldn't let them in. Talked through the door and said they could leave or I'd call the police. My mom started crying, saying I was tearing the family apart over money. Over money. Like that's all this is. My aunt yelled that my sister has 2 kids to feed and I'm going to ruin their lives. I said she should have thought about that before she robbed me and my mom called me cruel. Said the old me would never talk like this, that motherhood changed me into someone cold. Maybe it did. Maybe having someone exploit the worst moment of your life makes you cold. My husband wanted to open the door and confront them but I said no. They left after 20 minutes but not before my mom shouted that I'm choosing pride over family. That everyone makes mistakes and forgiveness is what keeps families together. But here's what I keep coming back to. Those emails from April. She researched this. She found lawyers who specialize in conservatorships and power of attorney cases. She asked specific questions about postpartum depression and whether it could be classified as temporary mental incompetence. She hunted me. My therapist says that's not too strong a word for it. That's actually what it was. Premeditated financial abuse of a vulnerable person. My sister saw me pregnant and happy and planning for my baby, and she made plans to rob me the second I was weak enough. The $43,000 is gone, by the way. Completely gone. Her business opportunity was some multi-level marketing thing that collapsed in 6 weeks. She lost everything. My lawyer says we might not recover any of it even with a judgment. The car money is gone too. She spent it. So now she's broke and facing criminal charges, and my entire family thinks I should drop it because she's suffering enough. My cousin sent me this long text about how my sister is depressed now and barely eating, and her kids are asking why mommy cries all the time. I didn't respond. What am I supposed to say? That I'm sorry her consequences are making her sad? My son is 4 months old now. I'm doing better with the depression, on medication that's helping. But I still have moments where I'm feeding him or changing him and I just start crying because I think about what she did. How she looked at me struggling to keep my head above water, and she pushed me under so she could take my wallet. My husband says I need to stop reading the family group chat. They're all talking about me in there like I'm the villain. Sharing articles about forgiveness and family bonds. My cousin posted something about how hurt people and everyone liked it. Even my dad, who usually stays out of this stuff. Nobody's posting articles about financial elder abuse. That's what the charges are technically classified as, even though I'm only 28. Exploitation of a vulnerable person. It carries up to 5 years. My sister's lawyer tried to get me to meet for mediation. Said we could work something out that didn't involve courts. My lawyer said absolutely not, that it's a trap to get me to say something they can use. So I didn't go. She sent me a letter after that. Handwritten, delivered to my house. It said she never meant to hurt me and that she was trying to help manage my finances because she was worried about me. That she made errors in judgment but her heart was in the right place. The letter never said sorry. Not once. Just that she made errors in judgment. I burned it in the kitchen sink. My husband took a video in case we need to prove she contacted me despite the restraining order, then I burned it. 3 weeks until the hearing. The prosecutor says they're pushing for restitution and jail time. Real jail time, not just probation. My mom left me a voicemail begging me to write a letter to the judge asking for leniency. I deleted it without listening to the whole thing. My son smiled at me for the first time yesterday. A real smile, not just gas. And all I could think was that my sister tried to take everything from me during the hardest time of my life. She tried to take my money, my independence, my ability to provide for this baby. And my family thinks I should let it go because she's sorry now that she got caught. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing anymore. Maybe I am being vindictive. Maybe I should try to find a way to forgive this that doesn't involve criminal court. Everyone keeps saying that's what a good person would do, that's what a good Christian would do, that family is supposed to forgive family. But she hunted me. And I don't know how to forgive that. My sister showed up at the criminal hearing with her kids. She brought my 3-year-old niece and 5-year-old nephew and sat them right behind her in the courtroom gallery. They kept asking loudly why everyone looked so serious, and my niece started crying when the bailiff told everyone to rise. I watched my sister lean down and whisper something to them while staring directly at me. The prosecutor saw it too. Asked the judge if the minors could be removed because they were clearly being used as props. My sister's lawyer objected, said she had every right to have her children present for support during this difficult time. The judge allowed it, but you could tell she wasn't happy about it. My sister cried through the entire preliminary hearing. Not quiet crying either. Full sobbing, the kind where your shoulders shake. Her lawyer kept passing her tissues. Every time the prosecutor mentioned the dollar amounts or read from the medical record she twisted, my sister would cry harder and look back at her kids. It was a performance. I know my sister. I've known her for 28 years. That was a calculated performance designed to make me look like a monster for putting a struggling single mother through this. The judge set a trial date for February. As we were leaving, my niece ran up to me in the hallway and hugged my legs. Said, "I miss you, Auntie," and my sister didn't stop her. Just stood there watching while I tried to figure out what to say to a 3-year-old who has no idea why her mom is a criminal. I said, "I miss you too, sweetheart," and my sister said, "Tell your aunt why mommy's been so sad. Leading her. Using her." My niece said, "Mommy says you're mad at her and won't talk to her anymore." I looked at my sister and she had this expression on her face. Not quite smiling but close. Triumphant. Like she'd won something. My lawyer pulled me away before I could respond. Said engaging was exactly what she wanted. That she's trying to bait me into looking unstable or aggressive in public where people can see and potentially testify. But it got worse after that. My mom called me that night and said I looked heartless in court. That seeing me sit there stone-faced while my sister sobbed made her ashamed. That my niece came home asking why I wouldn't hug her back and now she's confused and scared. I did hug her back. But apparently that's not the story being told. My sister posted on social media 2 days later. Didn't name me specifically, but it was obvious. Talked about how hard it is when family turns on you during your darkest hour and how she's fighting for her babies against people who want to destroy her. The post got 200 likes. Dozens of comments telling her to stay strong and that blood is thicker than water. My cousin commented praying for you and the kids. My aunt commented 3 prayer hand emojis. My mom shared it. I haven't posted anything. My lawyer said not to. But I wanted to so badly. Wanted to screenshot those emails from April and post them with a caption asking if this looked like someone in crisis or someone planning a crime. My husband had to physically take my phone away from me. Then my sister's lawyer filed a motion. Says I'm harassing her online and requesting that I be barred from social media discussion of the case. Based on nothing because I haven't posted anything. But now there's a legal document claiming I'm cyberbullying her. My lawyer says it's more performance. More attempts to paint me as the aggressor. That judges see through this stuff, but it's exhausting having to respond to every ridiculous motion they file. The support group thing got messier too. 2 women from my postpartum group called me. Said my sister came back a second time with printed packets. Information about false accusations and mental health crisis indicators and how family members sometimes need to make hard choices to protect their loved ones. She's telling people I'm delusional. That the financial exploitation never happened and I fabricated this narrative because postpartum psychosis made me paranoid. One woman believed her. Sent me a long message saying she hopes I get help and that she understands I'm struggling but I need to let my family take care of me. That my sister seems so worried about me and maybe I should listen. I blocked her. Then I quit the support group entirely because I can't sit in a room with people who might think I'm crazy. My therapist says this is isolation abuse. That my sister is systematically cutting me off from support systems by poisoning them against me. Making me look unstable so that when the trial happens she can point to how unwell I've been acting. My husband wants to post something defending me. His whole family knows what happened and they're furious, want to go scorched earth. But my lawyer keeps saying no, don't engage, let the evidence speak in court. But what if the evidence isn't enough? What if the jury sees my sister crying with her kids and decides that I'm a vindictive daughter who can't forgive a mistake? What if those emails from April aren't enough to prove she planned this? I'm terrified. Actually terrified in a way I haven't been since the worst days of my postpartum depression. She's better at this than me. Better at manipulating people, better at playing victim, better at making me look like the villain. My son is 6 months old now. I take him to the park sometimes and I see other moms and I wonder if they'd believe me. If I told them what my sister did, would they think I was exaggerating or mentally unstable or making it up for attention? My dad finally called me last week. First time since this started. He said he believes me about the money but that pressing criminal charges is too far. That I should have handled this privately, within the family, not brought the law into it. I asked him how exactly I was supposed to privately handle someone stealing $50,000 and he said your mother and I would have helped you get it back. With what leverage? Stern conversations? Disappointed looks? My sister doesn't care about disappointing them. She cares about money and what she can take. He said I've always been stubborn and that this is just another example of me refusing to compromise. Hung up before I could respond. Nobody's on my side except my husband. My entire family has chosen her. The narrative is set. She's the struggling single mom being persecuted by her mentally unstable sister who can't forgive an honest mistake. The trial is in 8 weeks. My lawyer says we have a strong case but I can't shake this feeling that I'm going to lose. Not in court necessarily but in every other way that matters. My family is gone. My support system is compromised. My reputation in this town is destroyed. My sister is still posting. Still sharing vague sad quotes about betrayal and family. Still collecting sympathy while I'm not allowed to defend myself publicly. I don't know if I can do 8 more weeks of this. My sister's lawyer subpoenaed my therapist's records. Found out 3 days ago when my therapist called to warn me. Said she got served with a subpoena demanding all notes from our sessions, specifically anything related to my mental state during and after my pregnancy. My sister is trying to prove I was incompetent when I signed those documents. Which I was. That's the whole point. I was drowning in postpartum depression and she exploited it. But now she's twisting it, saying if I was truly that unwell then the power of attorney was legitimate and necessary. My lawyer filed a motion to quash it but the damage is already done. My most private moments, the things I only told my therapist because I thought they were safe, might end up read out loud in a courtroom. Every awful thought I had those first few weeks. Every time I didn't want to hold my baby or couldn't stop crying or thought about driving my car into a wall. My husband found me having a panic attack in the bathroom after that phone call. I couldn't breathe. Kept thinking about strangers hearing how broken I was and deciding my sister was right to take everything from me. Then my mom came by unannounced yesterday. Let herself in with the key she's had for years, the one I forgot to ask for back. I was feeding my son and she just walked into the living room like nothing was wrong. She wanted to talk. Said we needed to have a real conversation without lawyers and anger getting in the way. I told her to leave and she said I'm still your mother and this has gone too far. Started crying. Told me my sister's husband left her. Took the kids 3 days ago and filed for emergency custody because the legal bills are bankrupting them and he says she's obsessed with me to the point of neglecting their children. That my niece is having nightmares and my nephew's teacher called about behavioral problems. She said this is all my fault. That if I'd just forgiven my sister and handled this privately, none of this would be happening. That 2 children are suffering because I'm being stubborn and vindictive. I asked her to leave again. She didn't move. Just stood there crying and saying I'm destroying this family over money that's already gone. That my sister has lost everything and I'm still not satisfied. I said she stole from me while I had postpartum depression and my mom said she made a mistake. A mistake. Months of planning and forging documents and manipulating doctor's notes is a mistake. My mom said I've changed. That I used to be sweet and forgiving and now I'm cold. That having a baby was supposed to make me more understanding but instead it made me cruel. She doesn't recognize me anymore. I told her to get out of my house and give me back the key. She refused. Said this is still her daughter's home and she has a right to try to fix this family. My husband came in then. He'd been in the nursery putting the baby down and heard everything. Told my mom she had 30 seconds to leave or he was calling the police. She looked at me like I was supposed to defend her, tell him to calm down. I didn't say anything. She left. Threw the key on the floor on her way out and said I'd regret this. That when my son is older and asks about his family I'll have to explain how I destroyed it all over pride. I picked up the key after she left and just held it. This stupid piece of metal that let her walk into my house whenever she wanted. How many times had she let herself in over the years? How many boundaries had I let her cross because she's my mother and that's what you do? My husband wants to change the locks. Add cameras. He doesn't trust any of them anymore, thinks they're coordinating to build some kind of case against me. Trying to provoke me into doing something they can use in court. Maybe he's right. The subpoena came right after my mom probably told them I quit the support group. Right after they saw I was isolating. Now they're pushing, seeing if they can make me snap. I haven't been sleeping. Keep having dreams about the trial. In the dreams my sister is on the stand crying and the jury is nodding sympathetically while I'm sitting there with my therapist's notes being read out loud. Every horrible thing I thought or felt during those first postpartum weeks being used as proof that she was right to take control. My lawyer called this morning. The judge denied the motion to quash. My therapy records are discoverable. We have a week to review them before they're turned over and decide what to fight for in terms of redactions. A week to read through every session and relive the worst period of my life so we can figure out what parts are too damaging to let a jury see. I asked my lawyer what happens if they use the records to prove I was incompetent. She said it doesn't matter because incompetence induced through exploitation is still exploitation. That even if I was unwell, my sister caused that situation and took advantage of it. But what if the jury doesn't see it that way? What if they decide a desperate sister was trying to help and I'm just ungrateful? My sister posted again yesterday. Another vague post about strength and fighting for your kids. About how the truth always comes out eventually. 300 likes this time. Comments saying she's an inspiration. I still haven't posted anything. My lawyer says my silence makes me look guilty but also that anything I say could be used against me. So I just watch my sister collect sympathy while I'm not allowed to defend myself. My husband's parents want to fly out for the trial. Offer moral support and help with the baby. I don't want them here. Don't want anyone here except my husband. Everyone else feels like they're watching a spectacle, waiting to see how this ends. 6 weeks until trial. My therapy records being reviewed. My family turned against me. My sister's ex-husband filing for custody of my niece and nephew, which somehow becomes my fault. I keep thinking about my mom saying I've changed. Maybe I have. Maybe you have to change when someone you love hunts you. Maybe being sweet and forgiving is what got me here in the first place. My son is 7 months old now. Learning to sit up on his own. Making these babbling sounds that almost sound like words. And I'm terrified that by the time he's old enough to understand what happened, I'll be the villain in every family story. The cruel daughter who put her sister in prison over a misunderstanding. That's what they'll tell him. Not that his aunt robbed his mother. That his mother was vindictive and unforgiving and destroyed the family. I don't know how to fight this anymore. The trial lasted 3 days and my sister got 18 months. Not the 5 years the prosecutor pushed for. 18 months with possibility of parole after 9. Restitution ordered but the judge acknowledged most of the money is gone and I'll probably never see it. My lawyer says we can pursue civil court after the criminal case closes, but what's the point? You can't squeeze blood from a stone. My sister didn't look at me when they read the sentence. Just stared straight ahead while her lawyer put a hand on her shoulder. My mom made this wounded animal sound from the gallery. My dad had to walk her out because she was sobbing so loud the judge threatened to clear the courtroom. The therapy records didn't matter in the end. The prosecutor had those emails from April, had the timeline, had testimony from the bank manager about the transfers. Had documentation of every lie my sister told to get those medical records. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. My family left before I did. Didn't say a word to me, just filed out like I wasn't there. My aunt gave me this look though. Pure hatred. Like I'd personally destroyed her niece's life instead of just holding her accountable for destroying mine. We went home and I fed my son and put him to bed, and then I sat on the couch and felt nothing. My husband kept asking if I was okay and I didn't know how to answer. I'd won. My sister was going to jail. I was vindicated. But I didn't feel vindicated. I felt hollow. My sister reported to county jail 2 weeks later. Minimum security facility about 40 minutes from here. My mom calls me every few days begging me to visit her, to write her letters, to show some compassion now that I've gotten what I wanted. I haven't responded to any of the calls. Her ex-husband got full custody of my niece and nephew. The judge cited the legal bills and her inability to provide stable housing as primary factors. My mom has them on weekends. She sent me pictures once, my niece and nephew playing in her backyard. Didn't include any message, just the photos. I deleted them without really looking. My husband's parents came for a week after the trial. Helped with the baby, cooked meals, tried to make things feel normal. His mom kept saying I did the right thing and that justice was served, but she said it like she was trying to convince herself. Like she couldn't quite believe someone would actually send their sister to jail. The town hasn't forgotten. I went to the grocery store last month and ran into one of my mom's friends. She looked right through me like I was invisible. Walked past without acknowledging I exist. It happened again at the pediatrician's office. The receptionist was cold, almost rude. This is a small town. Everyone knows. I'm the daughter who put her sister in prison. That's what I'll always be here. We're moving. My husband got a job offer 3 states away and we're taking it. New city, new start, somewhere nobody knows what happened. The house goes on the market next week. My mom left one final voicemail after she found out. Said I'm running away because I can't face what I've done. That I've destroyed this family and now I'm abandoning the pieces. That my son will grow up without grandparents or cousins or aunts because of my choices. She's not entirely wrong. My son won't know them. Won't know his aunt is in jail or that his mother is the reason why. He'll grow up in a new place with new people and maybe that's better. Maybe he doesn't need to inherit this mess. I got a letter 2 days ago. From my sister. The prison mail had been processed and forwarded and there it was, her handwriting on the envelope. I almost threw it away unopened. I didn't though. I read it. She didn't apologize. Not really. Wrote about how hard jail is, how scared she is, how much she misses her kids. Said she hopes someday I can forgive her but she understands if I can't. Said she never meant for things to go this far. Still making it about her intentions instead of her actions. I burned that letter too. Watched it curl and blacken in the sink just like the last one. My husband asked if I was okay and I said yes even though I don't know if that's true. The thing is, I thought I'd feel different once it was over. Thought there'd be relief or closure or satisfaction. Something to make the last year worth it. The isolation, the judgment, the loss of my entire family. But I just feel tired. Bone deep exhausted in a way sleep doesn't fix. My son is 11 months old now. Almost walking. He pulls himself up on furniture and takes these shaky sideways steps while holding on. He laughs when he falls. Doesn't know yet that sometimes when you fall, you don't get back up. I wonder sometimes if I should have just let it go. Taken the loss, moved on, kept my family intact even if it meant swallowing what she did. If the money and the car were worth losing everyone. But then I remember those emails from April. Remember her researching how to exploit postpartum depression 2 months before my son was born. Remember her planning to hunt me. And I know I'd do it again. Every single part of it. My sister took everything she could from me when I was drowning. She watched me struggle to survive and she saw opportunity. She calculated exactly how vulnerable I'd be and she waited. So yes, she's in jail. Yes, my family is gone. Yes, we're leaving this town and probably never coming back. But she didn't get away with it. That has to mean something. We leave in 6 weeks. New city, new job, new life. My son won't remember this place or these people. Won't carry the weight of what happened here. I'll carry it for both of us.